The round of 16 are finally over. Now I know that I'm a bit late to the party with this whole Champions League thing. They just finished a couple days ago, but I've been busy this whole week. But the round of 16 are finally over, and now we know our quarter finalists. And oh my gosh, this round of 16 was extremely entertaining, and we got delivered incredible games. PSG, Liverpool, and Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, great games all around. So let's get into the results. So let's go ahead and start with Tuesday's games. Barcelona Benfica is the first one I'm gonna be focusing on. Barcelona did what they had to do in Barcelona. In Catalonia, they did what they had to do. A 3-1 comfortable victory over Benfica. Benfica seemed like they were trying to get back into the game after tying a wonder goal that was done by Lamine Yamal and finished by Rafinha. But ultimately, Barcelona were just too powerful to lose this game. Rafinha played incredibly, and Lamine Yamal, man, he played absolutely insanely good. I mean, first of all, that first goal, he sat down a defender, man. Incredible scenes. And then puts a beautiful ball up onto Rafinha. Maybe he didn't mean it. I'm not sure if he didn't meant it or not. I think he did. But regardless, whether it was a butcher shot or a pass, beautiful play by Lamine Yamal. Then his second goal, finesse shot from the right-hand side of the pitch. Great goal. My gosh, this kid is something special. And I was refusing to believe this. But after watching this game, I'm just like mind blown by this. And Rafinha continues to have a great form this season. And from what we saw from the Liverpool and PSG game, maybe even Ballon contender type games. So yeah, Barcelona sealed the deal in Catalonia, and they will be advancing into the quarterfinals. Next up was Inter Milan versus Feyenoord. Similar to the Barcelona game, but Inter had a 2-goal leeway on top of Feyenoord. I mean, it was a 2-0 win over in Feyenoord's field. And then Feyenoord came into Milan trying to get something, but Milan just dominated the game. I mean, I barely watched this game because there was so many other games, but I mean, Inter just did what Inter had to do, put them to sleep. Nothing for Feyenoord to do, honestly. Very strong performances from Inter. Now it'll be interesting to see how they face against stronger rivals. Even though they did it in the group phase, who knows? Maybe it's the same case as Barcelona, who they have to face a big team, a strong team in the Champions League to actually cement their spot into being a title contender. Next up, Bayern Munich versus Bayern Leverkusen. First of all, Bayern Munich came into this match winning 3-0 at home, the first leg. And they just, similar to Feyenoord and Barcelona, came and did their job. I mean, they scored 2 goals. Harry Kane, Alphonso Davies. Beautiful pass from Harry Kane for the Alphonso Davies goal. On aggregate, 5-0, put them to sleep. Nothing that he could do. I was honestly very surprised about how effectively they neutralized Bayer Leverkusen's attack. We know that they are a dangerous attack, but Leverkusen just did not team themselves these legs. Great performance from Bayern Munich. That defense is still shaky, so we'll see how they face off in the quarterfinals. So to finish off the Tuesday matchups in the Champions League, it was PSG versus Liverpool, the headliner, the main game, what everybody was going to be watching at 3 p.m. here in Central Time. What a game. What a game, back and forth. Incredible performance by both of these teams. Maybe by not all the players, but definitely by the teams. I mean, PSG defended with their life, and they played incredible football. Under Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, under all of them, I had never seen a PSG so dangerous and so cohesive at the same time. Defensively, they were there. Nuno Mendes locked up Mohamed Salah. Incredible performance by Nuno Mendes. Hakimi was struggling with Luis Diaz, but Pacho and Marquinhos, and later on Bernaldo, were able to neutralize any other attack that was not Luis Diaz. Great performance by PSG. But Digne, there's not much I can say. This guy is literally one of the best midfielders in the world, rivaling Pedri. I mean, this guy played incredible football. He completely dominated the midfield, almost by himself, because Joe Neves played great as well as Fabian. But nobody was as present as Vitinha was, not only in defense, but also in the attack. Incredible game by Vitinha, incredible game by Kvaratskhelia, even at some points defensively. Same with Dembele. He was able to get that first goal early on into the game. And he did miss a chance to go up, Dembele. But I mean, when you have Alisson in front of you, he took a bad touch. But Alisson, man, it does strike you some fear. But ultimately, they ended up going into the extra time. Now, Liverpool. As I said, Liverpool did not play horrendously bad. Now, there is some players that play bad. Gravenberch. I mean, that as I said, that midfield was getting ran over by the PSG midfield pretty much the entire 90 minutes. I mean, most of the attacks came from the wings, from like Luis Diaz. I mean, Robertson also played a great game, and Trent was really even trying to score himself. But ultimately, it gave me very similar PSG versus Liverpool vibes first leg, because Liverpool hit like 2 posts within the 90 minutes. And they really tried. They really tried to score. They were really close, but ultimately, they couldn't score a single goal on PSG. They defended with their lives. I mean, Donnarumma played one of the best performances that I have seen from him. And he was still dropping balls still. But he had Pacho, Marquinhos, Mendes. He had an incredible defense right in front of him. Then in extra time, I mean, PSG looked like they were gonna score more likely than Liverpool. I mean, this PSG, if you gave them 5 minutes of rest, they would come at you with everything they had. So it was a very difficult tie for Liverpool. And then they went on to penalties. And oh my gosh, Liverpool end up bottling. They end up losing. I mean, they put in Darwin Núñez to shoot a penalty, and they put him to shoot, I believe it was the second penalty right after Mo Salah. He misses that penalty. Then Curtis Jones comes up, misses that penalty too. And I could just question myself, where was Van Dijk? Where were the senior members? Where was the team that actually wanted to shoot that penalty? Because to be fair, Darwin Núñez is not the player you want to be stepping up right after or early on in the penalty shootout. He just isn't. But to be fair though, there didn't seem to be many penalty shooters in the Liverpool side as there were in the PSG side. I mean, Vitinha was one of the penalty shooters. Dembele was one of the penalty shooters. I think Due was one of the penalty shooters. Gonzalo Ramos ended up shooting a penalty. Really strong lineup to shoot penalties. And ultimately, having the better goalkeeper at penalties, Donnarumma, earned them a win. I mean, Donnarumma was great in the penalty shootout. We know how good he is when it comes to penalties. And this gave the edge to PSG. Now, I will be honest, I was surprised because I do see this team, PSG, as a young team, you know? And on top of that, after losing a player of the magnitude of Mbappe, which was the head, I didn't think they were going to look this cohesive so quick. I mean, it took them half a year with having to end up in 23rd place in the Champions League, but they are there. And now they are really a force to be reckoned with, honestly. The way these guys play is scary. Wednesday was no exception to what we had seen in Tuesday's matchups. Let's go ahead and start with the PSV versus Arsenal. Now, PSV coming into this, I didn't think they had a chance. They were 7-1 down. The poor guys just were destroyed by Arsenal. So Arsenal came out and played a lot of their substitutes. Actually, Shevchenko ended up starting at center mid. He ended up scoring pretty early on. Great goal, finesse shot. Then Perisic equalized and then Declan Rice scores. PSV ended up equalizing at the end, 2-2 overall. On aggregate, 9-3. Arsenal just needed to do what they had to do, and they did it. There's not much that I can say. Yeah, they didn't win, but when you have a 7-1 lead and you have games coming up so fast, you kind of have to rest some players, and this was a nice opportunity to rest these players up. So Arsenal are going to be going into the quarterfinals as well. Next game, Club Brugge versus Aston Villa. Club Brugge came in 3-1 down. They needed to win in Villa Park. And sadly, Club Brugge ends up getting a red card very early into the game, 17 minutes in. Are you kidding me? They had to go 80, 70, 73 minutes without a player. That's absolutely insane. And at the end, you could notice that. I mean, in the second half, Aston Villa were able to score 3 goals on them. 3-0, shuts them out. 6-1 on aggregate. And Aston Villa ends up going into the quarterfinal. Now, this game, I got it completely wrong, but it was a close one. It was a really close one. Lille versus Borussia Dortmund. I really thought Lille was going to go through, and when that Anthony David goal went in at 5 minutes, I really thought they were going to make it through, But like most teams are, they want to protect that lead. They want to protect the pass into the next round. I think that's what the detriment was. I mean, Dortmund have a great attack. They have Adeyemi, they have the striker, Girassi. They have these great players going forward, and you just can't. And Lille was actually playing pretty well up against Borussia Dortmund, but they just went back, and Dortmund just kept attacking, and when you let them attack, they're going to score. They are just going to score. And ultimately, that's what happened with a penalty conceded by Lille. Unlucky penalty. And then they just kept attacking and ended up scoring a goal just 10 minutes later. After that, Lille tried to get back into the game. They're pretty close in some occasions, but it was like the 70th minute. There's not much you can do up on that point. And Borussia Dortmund then end up going through. So I really thought that Lille was going to get through. But, Dortmund just has that Champions League aura in them. Now, the last match of this Wednesday was the Real Madrid versus Atletico de Madrid. I was in school and I watched it. This game was 3 hours long. Well worth it. I absolutely hated this game from a Real Madrid perspective, man. I mean, gosh, why can't we play well? Why can't we play well? We played horrendous for 90 minutes. First of all, we end up conceding in the first minute. So that lead that we got in the Santiago Bernabeu, that 1-0 lead that we had, that we fought for, that we could have made bigger if Mbappe would have passed it right to Vini, is lost within seconds, 30 seconds. And then Atletico Madrid just start attacking. I'm telling you, this Atletico Madrid, I had never seen it. The whole game they're attacking. The whole game they're counterattacking effectively. But luckily we have Courtois. And every single player in the attack played horrendous. Every single one of them. Mbappe ghosted. Rodrigo ghosted. Vini, I don't even want to talk about him. Oh my gosh. Bellingham came back from injury. Defensively, a beast. He was incredible defensively. Offensively, inexistent. He was nowhere to be found. And oh my goodness. Yes, Mbappe won a penalty. Great penalty. Beautiful play by Mbappe. But other than that, he didn't do much. But to be fair, he's the striker, right? But he has to generate his own stinks. But he was by far not the worst in the attack. He was, if anything, the best on the attack. As I said, he won that penalty, gave it to Vinicius, misses it. And we'll get into Vinicius in a bit. Rodrigo, he was just ghosting completely. Ancelotti should have really brought in Brahim Diaz earlier, because when he came in, great energy from Brahim Diaz. Maybe he should have even started the match. Bellingham, as I said, he came back from injury. He wasn't playing very well attackingly wise, but defensively he was good. But there was one player who I am absolutely furious about. Absolutely furious, man. I can't even speak. Vinicius Jr. What in the world are you doing, Vinicius? What in the world? How is this the guy that was supposed to win the Ballon d'Or last year? How? I mean, this guy, first of all, he does nothing the entire game, apart from a little handball, which I think it's a handball that he created from Giuliano Simeone hitting it in a penalty. But it's fine. All right, whatever. He did, apart from that, nothing in a Champions League game. Absolutely nothing. He didn't press, he didn't defend, he didn't attack, he didn't shoot. Dreadful performance. He didn't create nothing. Didn't create anything. Misses a penalty that Mbappe gives him. Because it's Mbappe's penalty. He won it. But he misses it. Jude Bellingham goes and helps him, who earlier on had been furious with him after losing the ball in a very stupid way. But consoles him, right? And at the time, 60-something minute, I'm like, I believe in Vinny. I believe in this player. I just know the way he faces adversity after missing this penalty, he's absolutely going to cook the Atletico Madrid defense. He's going to run around. So that's what I was expecting after the penalty miss. To my surprise, to a couple minutes later, when Atletico de Madrid has the ball, and the guy is just standing with the ball. I don't know who it was. I think it was Jose Maria Jimenez. I'm not sure. He's just standing with the ball. And Vinny is right there in front of him. And he jogs towards him. But as he jogs towards him, he just stops and starts walking towards him. Oh my God, you just missed the penalty. Who in the world do you think you are to walk? Oh my gosh. From that moment on, I was like, get him out. Get him. I think Ancelotti let him in too much. From that point on, Ancelotti should have taken him out. That guy clearly was not in the match. He clearly didn't want to play. I don't know what's going on with Vinny. This is not the Vinny I defended. This is not the Vinny that we know. This is not the Vinny that came in carrying at 18 a Real Madrid with no Cristiano Ronaldo and getting booted by his own teammates because he was bad, even though his teammates were worse because they were 34-year-olds, 32-year-olds, 30-year-olds who were supposed to carry the Real Madrid legacy instead of an 18-year-old who ran till death for this club. This is not the Vinny that we know. I don't know if it's because of his contract or because Mbappe is in the team. This is disgraceful. And something needs to happen about not only Vinny's attitude, but his performance. His performances are horrendous. Press, do something. Do you not want to be the face of Real Madrid? Because at this rate, Mbappe is becoming the face of Real Madrid. I remember Atletico Madrid on the counter-attack. Mbappe sprints and tackles the crap out of that ball. And oh my gosh, you cannot know the euphoria that I felt after seeing Mbappe do that. I'm pretty sure he had never done that in his entire career. But with performances like that from Mbappe and performances like this from Vinny, I am going to start to consider, I think maybe a move to Al Hilal might not sound bad. But I believe in Vinicius Jr. and he has to turn it around. I know what he can do. Alright guys, so I'm done with this little rant from Real Madrid. Now let's actually get into the game. Yeah, Atletico Madrid played great. We played like trash. We went on to penalties. Very controversial penalty from Julian Alvarez. I think it was. He touched it twice. He definitely touched it twice. Very minuscule, but he touches it twice. But there needs to be changes to these rules. I mean, he should be able to retake a penalty when it's, first of all, not even immediately clear and obvious that there was a double touch. Like, you really have to zoom in and frame by frame look at things. But if it's a slip, you gotta let the player retake it, especially in a penalty shootout. I mean, on top of that, he scored it. So I think there needs to be a change of the rules. But anyways, we end up winning in penalties 4-2. Very excited. We are into the quarterfinals. We're into the quarterfinals, and hopefully this is the worst Real Madrid we see in this Champions League. All right, so just to finish things up, on April 8th, Real Madrid is going to face Arsenal in the quarterfinals. I believe they're going to start in the Emirates and then finish in the Bernabeu. And also on that same day, Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan, starting in the, I believe, Allianz Arena and ending in the San Siro. On April 9th, we're going to see Barcelona versus Dortmund, first in Catalonia, and then finishing off in Germany. And also on that same day, PSG Aston Villa, starting in France, finishing in Villa Park. Now we'll make a video completely separate to this, give my predictions, but it's going to be closer to the actual day. I'm very excited for these quarterfinals. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.